We need to cut it by a third. That doesn't mean we eliminate the services being provided, but it does mean that you consolidate those organizations into larger organizations and have less money going to the administrative cost of the service provision as opposed to the actual provision of that service. I think we need to be much more entrepreneurial in what we're doing. So I absolutely want to shrink the ranks of the individuals who have whose ranks have grown so mightily over the last 16 years, and particularly over the last 6 years of the Rell administration. So that's why I've taken the pledge of eliminating or downsizing the portions of government that I directly control in the executive branch by 15%, and calling on the legislature to do the same, and the judicial branch to do the same thing. That's why I'm calling on and saying that we will combine departments by at least a third during the first 4 years that I'm a governor. It's why we will look to finding ways to do things less expensively. For instance, most of the commodities that the state purchases, it bids once or twice a year. But I could go on eBay and have those very same items repriced on a daily basis. We need to build a daily bidding process for commodities. It just makes sense. I mean, why would you bid toilet paper twice a year? Why would you bid flat screen TVs twice a year? It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to have to also capture technology and use that to our advantage. And Connecticut is woefully inadequate. Any agency that I've seen rank Connecticut state's government with respect to the use of technology generally give us a D or a D minus. We haven't modernized. We don't. You can't interface with state government to too great an extent using the internet. We need to change that. So there are lots of things that we can do. Now, can I get all of that done between January 5th, the day I'm sworn in, and February 5th, the day that I constitutionally have to present a budget? The answer is no. A lot of this will be a work in progress over the first term, but I firmly believe that we can get there, that we can modernize state government. Listen, I'm not running for governor for more of the same. And I'm not running for governor using the same language that other people, even within my own party, have used over the last 4 years or 8 years or 16 years or 20 years of failed Democratic leadership, at least when it came to capturing the governor's office. We need to speak to people in the language that they understand. Government needs to be more transparent, needs to be more efficient, needs to make long-term investments, needs to hold itself accountable, and I intend to do that, as well as put forward a progressive agenda. A couple more. Listen, one more question. Fine. So you decide. This could cut me. It could cost me votes here. So I tell you what. 1, 2, 3, and I'll do them real quick. 1.
My name is Malloy. I'm a Yale sophomore. I'm also a member of the New Haven Town Committee. I think that one signature progressive issue in Connecticut that you haven't discussed so far, and it's not like you show it on your website either, is the death penalty. One of the things that I found most disappointing about the Rell administration was Governor Rell's choice to veto the abolition bill. I wanted to hear your position on that.
Sure. I've been talking about this issue for years. I was a former prosecutor. I tried 4 homicide cases as a prosecutor. And my position about the death penalty is very clear. There is no evidence that it demonstrates that the existence of the death penalty makes individuals safer. That it cuts down on the numbers of homicides that are committed. We know if it did, Texas would be one of the safest states with the lowest homicide rate, as opposed to one of the least safe states with one of the highest homicide rates. So my position has always been that if legislation was passed, I would absolutely sign it, and I do that understanding that those individuals who have suffered, the families of people who have suffered at the hands of criminals that have committed homicides, are to be understood and to be supported, and my heart goes out to them. And so it's very easy for me to support the concept of life without possibility of parole for certain forms of homicide. Having said that, I want to say one other thing, and that is that we know that there is that the death penalty. I'm sorry, this is more than 30 seconds. But it's an important issue. We know that the death penalty has been applied in a disparate way when it comes to the race of the victim, the race of the person committing the crime, and what the mixture of those races are. We also know that a number of people in our country's history have been put to death wrongly, and for that reason as well, I do not support the death penalty. Yep.
Hi, Mr. Malloy. Thanks. I'm Maxwell Kushner-Lenhoff. I'm here on behalf of Connecticut Students for a Just Stable Future. I appreciate your sentiment regarding sustainability in Connecticut for my colleague here. But I just wanted to ask a follow-up question. I was curious, what coal is the dirtiest power source that Connecticut has? And I was just curious what you see as its role in the future of Connecticut. Would you support downscaling coal? There's a coal power plant right across the harbor, and possibly a moratorium on coal power.
Well, I don't think we're going to see new coal generating plants built in Connecticut. I think that's highly unlikely. There is so far no clean coal. There is cleaner coal, and that has to do with the types of coal that are burnt and the cleaning mechanism, as well as your ability to capture the gases. There are clearly cleaner and better ways to produce energy, and I'm most excited about pursuing those. And we seem to have a little more time because of some of the recent discoveries, although we have to be concerned about how those discoveries are harvested of natural gas. But it gives us a little more time to figure this stuff out in a more rapid fashion. I think one of the great mistakes that Connecticut has made is failed to put its own money, or be willing to put some of its own money into cleaner energy production within the state. Other states are doing that. It's paying dividends. We've left it to the private market. Not only have we not seen the kind of energy generation come online that we need to bring online, but it's not cleaner either. So I'd like to change that policy. Thank you. Okay, great. Great to be with you. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
Now is the time to act. Help us register voters, make phone calls, knock doors, make a difference. Thanks to our next governor, Lieutenant Governor Dan Malloy and Nancy Wyman.